Hey man, no woman ever cheats without leaving traces. The mistake most men make is ignoring the signals because they don't want to believe the truth. They confuse denial with loyalty, thinking if they trust harder, love deeper, or close their eyes to the red flags, somehow it will all stay intact. But the reality is simple. Cheating always shows itself, not through her words, but through her shifts. The warmth fades, the consistency cracks, the excuses pile up, and while she may believe she's clever enough to hide it, her instincts betray her. Her actions reveal what her lips try to conceal, and the man who refuses to see it will always be the one left broken. The first sign is emotional withdrawal. A woman who is entertaining someone else no longer invests in you the same way. She stops asking about your day, stops showing genuine curiosity about your world, stops giving the small acts of affection that once came naturally. Conversations feel forced, her attention drifts, her eyes glaze over when you speak. It's not that she's busy, it's that her emotions are now invested elsewhere. And here's the truth, when a woman checks out emotionally, her body is never far behind. Men miss this sign because they chalk it up to stress or mood swings. But it's not stress, it's a shift in loyalty. Another undeniable sign is sudden secrecy. A woman who cheats becomes protective of her phone, her messages, her time. The device that once lay unlocked beside you is now glued to her hand or flipped face down. She guards her privacy like it's national security. Passwords change, notifications disappear, calls are taken in another room, and when you ask about it, she frames it as needing space or accuses you of being insecure. But the truth is obvious. When a woman starts hiding parts of her life from you, it's because those parts can't withstand the light of truth. Cheating thrives in secrecy, and secrecy is one of the loudest signs of betrayal. You'll also notice changes in her intimacy. A woman who cheats doesn't always stop being physical with you, but the way she engages changes. Sometimes she withdraws entirely, using excuses to avoid closeness because her desire is being spent elsewhere. Other times, she becomes strangely more passionate, overcompensating out of guilt, or mimicking what she's experiencing with another man. Either way, the energy is different. Her touch feels less connected, her passion feels artificial, her presence feels hollow. Men often ignore this shift because they're blinded by the fact that at least she's still showing up. But showing up is not the same as being invested, and when intimacy feels off, it's rarely without reason. The most dangerous sign of all is her change in attitude. Suddenly, small disagreements turn into big arguments. She becomes critical, distant, irritable, picking fights over things that never mattered before. Why? Because she's justifying her betrayal. In her mind, if she convinces herself you're the problem, she feels less guilty about seeking someone else. So she rewrites the story, painting you as neglectful, controlling, or distant, even if you've done nothing different. This is why so many men are shocked when she leaves. They never saw it coming because they thought the arguments were about dishes or texts, but they weren't. They were her way of easing the guilt of what she was already doing behind your back. Another glaring sign is her sudden focus on appearance. A woman who's loyal doesn't feel the need to reinvent herself out of nowhere. But when she's entertaining someone else, her grooming habits, her outfits, and her overall energy toward her looks often change drastically. She starts buying new clothes, wearing more makeup, or dressing in ways she never did for you. She says it's for herself, but the timing speaks louder than the excuse. Men miss this because they want to believe it's harmless self-care, but ask yourself, why now? Why the sudden obsession with looking different? Because brother, when her attention shifts to another man, her reflection becomes the battlefield where she prepares to impress him. You'll also notice her schedule doesn't add up anymore. Where she used to be predictable, she's suddenly full of excuses. She's working late, hanging with friends, or just busy. But when you press for details, the answers are vague. Times don't match up, stories don't align, her calendar feels like a fog. And here's the harsh truth. When a woman wants to see you, she finds time. When she wants to hide from you, she finds excuses. Most men let this slide, convincing themselves she's just busy. But busy women who are loyal communicate with clarity. They don't vanish into mystery. It's not busyness, brother, it's betrayal. Another subtle sign is the way she treats your presence. A loyal woman lights up around you, even in the small moments. But when she's cheating, being around you becomes a burden. She feels guilty, restless, uncomfortable. You'll notice her looking at her phone more than your eyes, sighing in conversations, or acting distracted when you're together. Her body may still be there, but her spirit is elsewhere, and while she may try to hide it, you'll feel it in your gut, that sense that something's off, that she's not really with you. Don't ignore that instinct. Your intuition is the alarm bell. Most men silence because they're too afraid to confront the truth. Here's another pattern: sudden generosity mixed with distance. Cheating women sometimes overcompensate by being unusually kind, buying gifts, cooking meals, showering you with attention to soothe their guilt. But it doesn't last. Right after the generosity, the coldness returns. It's a push-pull dynamic designed to keep you confused, to make you question whether you're imagining things. And that confusion is exactly what keeps men stuck. They remember the gift, the smile, the affection, and ignore the secrecy, the distance, the lies. But real love doesn't move in cycles of guilt and withdrawal. It moves in steady consistency. When her warmth feels like a performance, brother, it's because it is. Perhaps the most telling sign of all is projection. A woman who cheats will often accuse you of the very thing she's guilty of. She'll suddenly become suspicious of your phone, your whereabouts, your friendships. She'll frame innocent behavior as betrayal, planting seeds of doubt in your mind. Why? Because in her subconscious, she believes everyone is playing the same game she is. Projection is her way of easing her guilt. If she convinces herself you're unfaithful, she feels justified in her actions. And many men get so caught up defending themselves that they miss the bigger picture. Her accusations are confessions in disguise. One of the most overlooked signs of a cheating woman is her shift in emotional investment. A woman who is loyal pours into you emotionally. She checks on you, supports you, and makes you feel like her presence is a safe place. But when she starts cheating, that emotional support evaporates almost overnight. Instead of being your partner, she becomes a critic. Instead of encouraging you, she diminishes you. Instead of wanting to be part of your growth, she withdraws and distances herself. And here's why: her emotional energy is already being spent somewhere else. She no longer has the bandwidth to invest in you because she's investing in him. Men often excuse this change by saying she's stressed, tired, or just moody. But brother, stress doesn't drain loyalty. Betrayal does. Another massive red flag is the shift in her social circle behavior. A woman who cheats often subtly changes how she includes you or excludes you in her life. Suddenly there are new friends you've never heard of. There are outings you're not invited to. There are inside jokes she won't explain, plans she doesn't share, and weekends that suddenly don't involve you. What she's really doing is creating a double life, and her social circle becomes the bridge between the two. Some of her friends may even know what's happening, which is why you'll notice awkwardness, hesitation, or fake smiles when you're around them. Remember this, brother: a woman who is loyal integrates you into her world. A woman who cheats builds two worlds and makes sure you only see one. Then comes the erosion of intimacy beyond the physical. It's not just sex, it's the little things. The way she hugs you, the way she laughs at your jokes, the way she looks at you when she thinks you're not watching. Those things fade. Her touch feels mechanical, her laughter feels forced, her eyes stop lingering on you with admiration. Why? Because in her mind, you're no longer the man who excites her. You're the man who represents obligation, while someone else represents excitement. This is why men often say, "I could feel her love fading even before I knew the truth." They weren't imagining it. Her betrayal had already shifted her energy, and her body language gave it away long before her actions did. Another undeniable sign is the sudden rise in criticism. A cheating woman will pick apart everything you do: your habits, your words, your lifestyle. Things she once loved about you suddenly annoy her. Why does this happen? Because in her mind, she's already comparing you to someone else. To justify her betrayal, she has to convince herself you're the problem. She needs to make you look smaller in her own eyes so she can feel justified in choosing someone else. This criticism isn't constructive, it's corrosive. It doesn't aim to build you, it aims to break you. And the man who tolerates it without recognizing it for what it is sets himself up to be blindsided when she finally leaves. Here's perhaps the most painful sign of all: she stops seeing a future with you. A loyal woman will talk about tomorrow, next month, next year. She'll include you in her dreams, her goals, her long-term vision. But when she cheats, that disappears. Suddenly she avoids future plans, dodges conversations about commitment, and refuses to anchor herself to you. You'll notice she becomes vague when you talk about marriage, family, or even simple vacations. Why? Because her loyalty has already shifted. She doesn't see you as part of her long-term picture anymore. And when a woman stops planning her future with you, brother, it's because she's already building it with someone else. One of the most undeniable signs is the way she changes her routine overnight. Loyalty has a rhythm. It's predictable, steady, familiar, but betrayal disrupts that rhythm. Suddenly, she's going places she never mentioned before. She has errands that take longer than they should. She develops new hobbies or new commitments that strangely don't include you. She starts leaving earlier, coming home later, claiming to be tired but somehow energized when she's away. Men often ignore these changes because they don't want to seem controlling, but the truth is clear. When her daily patterns shift dramatically without explanation, it's not growth, it's deception. Another telltale sign is her phone becoming her lifeline. Phones don't lie, they record the truth. That's why a woman who cheats treats her phone like her oxygen tank. She keeps it glued to her hand, takes it into the bathroom, flips it face down at the dinner table, or suddenly starts using headphones more often. Notifications vanish because she's hiding them. Conversations are deleted, apps appear and disappear, and if you even glance at her screen, she reacts with defensiveness or anger. This is not normal behavior for someone with nothing to hide. A loyal woman doesn't fear transparency, but a cheating woman sees her phone as both her weapon and her weakness, so she guards it like her life depends on it. You'll also notice her energy shifts when she's with you. A cheating woman is split in two. When she's around you, she's restless, distracted, and sometimes even irritated by your presence. But when she's getting ready to leave, when her phone buzzes or when she's away from you, suddenly her mood improves. She becomes lighter, more cheerful, even excited. That contrast is not random, it's because you're no longer the source of her joy. Someone else is feeding her emotions, and you're left dealing with the fragments. Men often explain this away as she's just stressed. But stress doesn't create selective happiness. That dual energy is the shadow of betrayal. Another powerful sign is gaslighting. When a woman cheats, she flips the script on you. The moment you question her behavior, she turns it back around, making you feel crazy for noticing the obvious. She'll say you're paranoid, insecure, or controlling. She'll accuse you of being the problem, even though her actions have clearly changed. Gaslighting is her defense mechanism. It's how she hides in plain sight, and most men fall for it, doubting their own instincts instead of trusting them. But here's the truth. If your gut is telling you something's off, it usually is. Cheating women rely on your self-doubt to cover their tracks. Don't let her convince you your clarity is insanity. Perhaps the clearest sign of all is her emotional detachment. A loyal woman will argue, cry, and fight for the relationship because she cares. But when she cheats, that fire goes out. Arguments no longer matter to her. She doesn't care to fix problems. She doesn't care to fight for solutions. She shrugs, stays silent, or avoids conflict entirely. Why? Because in her mind, she's already halfway out the door. She's no longer invested in saving what you have. She's invested in building something new elsewhere. Emotional detachment is the final warning sign before betrayal becomes abandonment. And when she stops fighting for you, brother, it's because she's already fighting for someone else. One of the most undeniable shifts comes in the way she handles intimacy outside of sex. Loyalty isn't just about the bedroom, it's about how she reaches for your hand, how she sits close on the couch, how she kisses you when she walks in the door. But when a woman cheats, those little gestures fade. She doesn't hug you the same way. Her kisses feel mechanical. Her warmth disappears. Affection that once flowed naturally now feels forced or absent altogether. And it's because her emotional reservoir is being poured into someone else. Her body may still be near you, but her spirit isn't. And that hollow absence is one of the clearest signs of betrayal. Another unmistakable clue is how she starts rewriting history. Suddenly, the relationship that was once amazing becomes a list of grievances. She begins saying things like, "I've never really been happy," or "You never gave me what I needed," even though she was once overflowing with affection. Why does this happen? Because in order to justify her cheating to herself, she has to rewrite the story of your relationship. She needs to believe you were always the problem, so she can paint herself as the victim. This rewriting isn't truth, it's justification. And when you hear her twisting the past, understand she's preparing herself to walk away without guilt. You'll also notice how quickly her patience disappears. A loyal woman may get annoyed or frustrated, but she still sees value in working through problems. A cheating woman, on the other hand, treats every small issue like a massive deal. She has no patience for your flaws, no tolerance for your mistakes. Why? Because her mind is already with someone else, and patience is reserved for the man who currently excites her. The one who benefits from her kindness isn't you anymore, it's him. And that loss of patience is a red flag most men ignore, convincing themselves it's just a phase. But brother, patience doesn't evaporate overnight. It evaporates when her loyalty does. One of the deadliest signs of all is her indifference. Anger still means she cares. Arguments still mean she's invested. Even jealousy, as toxic as it can be, shows she values your presence. But indifference, that's the graveyard of loyalty. When she no longer reacts to you, when she stops caring where you are, what you do, or how you feel, that's when you know her heart has already left. Indifference is colder than anger, sharper than betrayal, and it always precedes the end. And if you ever find yourself with a woman who no longer reacts, who no longer fights, who no longer feels, that's not peace, brother. That's the silence of her exit plan. So here's the truth. A woman who cheats always leaves signs. She can hide her phone, rewrite her story, change her schedule, or gaslight you into doubting yourself, but the shifts will show. Her energy, her affection, her respect, her loyalty, these things cannot be faked forever. And the man who pays attention, who trusts his instincts, who refuses to ignore the obvious, will see it long before the betrayal becomes final. Don't let yourself be the man who wakes up blindsided, wondering how he missed it. The signs were there all along. And once you know them, once you recognize them, you'll never again let a woman play you blind. Because the truth, brother, is this. Betrayal doesn't sneak in quietly. It stomps through the door wearing a mask you chose not to remove.